So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first?
And started spreading around the internet. People were asking, so nobody is going to perform for Donald Trump? Some people were waiting to see which celebrity would be the first one to do it. One person who spoke loudly about this was Katt Williams. He joked that if any rapper performed at a Trump event, he would roast them and make fun of them. He said he was watching closely to see who would do it first. Then, something surprising happened. The famous rapper Snoop Dogg ended up performing at an event connected to Donald Trump. That shocked a lot of people, and it made Katt Williams speak up again. But this time, he wasn't joking. He gave Snoop Dogg what sounded like a serious warning. Katt Williams is known for being very honest. He is a comedian who does not stay quiet when he believes something is wrong. If he has something to say, he says it loudly, even if powerful people get upset. This time, his message was about Snoop Dogg. Katt said that Snoop might be changing too much. He said Snoop was becoming what he called a political dog. By that, he meant someone who used to be rebellious and free, but now works closely with powerful people. Katt warned that making choices like this could hurt Snoop's career later. He said that fans in places like Texas, Arizona, or California might stop supporting him if they felt he was no longer standing with the people. When Katt Williams talks like this, people listen. Not because he is trying to get attention, but because he has built a reputation for saying what he believes is the truth. Recently, Katt has been speaking out a lot about Hollywood. He has criticized several famous comedians, including Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and D.L. Hughley. According to Katt, many celebrities pretend to support the people but actually stay close to powerful groups behind the scenes. When he mentioned Snoop Dogg, the room felt different. That's because Snoop Dogg is not just another rapper. He's one of the biggest legends in hip-hop history. Snoop first became famous in the early 1990s. His smooth voice and laid-back style made him one of the most recognizable rappers in the world. He started his career working with Dr. Dre and became one of the stars of Death Row Records. Back then, Snoop represented street culture and West Coast hip-hop. Over time, though, Snoop changed and grew. He became more than just a rapper. He started appearing on television, acting in movies, and even hosting fun shows with lifestyle expert Martha Stewart. He built businesses, worked with big companies, and turned himself into a global brand. Some fans see that as smart growth, but Katt Williams sees it differently. In Katt's eyes, Snoop used to represent the voice of the streets. He used to stand against powerful systems. Now Katt believes Snoop is becoming part of that system. That's why his warning sounded so serious. Katt said that in the world he sees, there are two kinds of dogs. The first kind is the street dog. A street dog is wild, loyal, and fearless. It survives on its own and doesn't follow orders from anyone. The second kind is the political dog. A political dog is trained. It behaves politely, listens to powerful people, and protects the system instead of challenging it. Katt believes Snoop used to be the first type, but now he thinks Snoop is turning into the second. That is why he said Snoop is playing with fire. Still, not everyone agrees with Katt. Some people think Snoop Dogg is simply evolving and becoming smarter with his career. They say he survived decades in the music industry because he learned how to adapt and change. Very few rappers stay famous for as long as Snoop has. From gangster rap to family-friendly television, Snoop has reinvented himself again and again. That ability helped him stay relevant while many other artists disappeared. But others agree with Katt Williams. They say Snoop sometimes tries to stand on both sides. They feel he talks about loyalty to the streets while also building strong relationships with powerful corporations and politicians. Because of this, the internet is now divided. One group says Katt Williams is just jealous or angry. The other group says Katt is one of the only comedians brave enough to say what many people are thinking. The truth might be somewhere in the middle. Snoop Dogg represents survival and success. He found a way to stay famous, wealthy, and respected for more than 30 years. Katt Williams represents rebellion. He refuses to stay quiet even when it causes problems for his career. Both men became legends in their own way, but they chose very different paths. When Katt said this was Snoop's last warning, many fans wondered what he really meant. Some believe he was talking about karma. They think he was warning Snoop that turning away from the people might eventually hurt his reputation. Others think he was warning about something else. In the entertainment industry, playing both sides can be dangerous. If you try to please everyone, you might eventually lose the trust of both sides. Katt Williams believes the most important thing for any artist is authenticity. In other words, being real. He once said that the moment an entertainer stops speaking for the people will stop supporting them. That is the heart of his message to Snoop Dogg. No matter how rich, famous, or powerful someone becomes, their connection with the fans is what truly keeps their career alive. Without that connection, even the biggest stars can lose their influence. Of course, nobody can erase what Snoop Dogg has already done. He helped build West Coast hip-hop. He mentored younger artists and created opportunities for many people. His legacy in music is already secure. But the debate about his choices today continues. Is he simply growing and expanding his career, or has he moved too far away from the rebellious voice he once represented? That question is what keeps this story alive. And knowing Katt Williams, this probably isn't the last time he will talk about it. Because when Katt gives a warning, he usually means every word. When we step back and look at this whole story from beginning to end, it teaches us something very important about the music industry and about life in general. The situation involving Rick Ross, Birdman, and Lil Wayne was not just about music. It was about loyalty, respect, money, and the complicated relationships that can grow when people work together for many years. At first, everything looked strong and positive. Rick Ross respected Birdman and even worked together on music. Fans saw them as two powerful leaders in hip-hop who had built their success through hard work and smart business decisions. They seemed like friends who understood each other. In the world of rap, where competition is everywhere, seeing two successful artists working together was exciting for fans. But things slowly started changing when problems began between Birdman and Lil Wayne. For many years, Birdman had helped guide Lil Wayne's career. He discovered Wayne when he was still very young and gave him the opportunity to grow into one of the biggest rap stars in the world. Because of that history, many people believed their relationship was like family. Birdman often called Wayne his son, and Wayne looked up to him like a father figure. However, when disagreements about contracts and money appeared, the situation became very serious. Lil Wayne believed his music was being held back and that he was not being paid the money he believed he deserved. The biggest issue involved his album, The Carter V. Fans had been waiting for the album for years, but it kept getting delayed. This made people curious about what was happening behind the scenes. Eventually, the conflict became so big that Lil Wayne decided to go to court. He filed a massive lawsuit against Birdman and Cash Money Records, asking for millions of dollars. When the lawsuit became public, the entire hip-hop world began to talking about it. Fans, artists, and media outlets all wanted to know what would happen next. During this time, Rick Ross began sharing his opinion about the situation. Ross had always respected Lil Wayne and believed he was one of the most talented rappers in hip-hop. Seeing Wayne struggle with his record label made Ross feel disappointed. He believed artists should be treated fairly and should receive the money they earn through their hard work. Ross expressed these feelings through his music, especially in the song Idols Become Rivals from the album Rather You Than Me. In that song, Ross spoke honestly about how someone he once admired had become someone he could no longer respect. The message of the song was emotional because it showed the pain of feeling let down by someone you once looked up to. Many fans believed Ross was standing up for what was right. Others believed he should have stayed out of the situation because it was private business between Birdman and Lil Wayne. Because of these different opinions, the story became even more interesting. People debated about it online, in interviews, and across social media for years. Eventually, after a long and difficult legal battle, Lil Lil Wayne and Birdman reached a settlement in 2018. This moment was very important because it finally ended one of the biggest conflicts in hip-hop history. Lil Wayne was able to release his long-awaited album, The Carter V, and fans everywhere celebrated hearing the music they had been waiting for. The settlement also helped repair the relationship between Birdman and Lil Wayne. Even after everything they went through, they were able to stand together again and show respect for each other. This proved that even after serious disagreements, people can sometimes find a way to make peace. However, the relationship between Rick Ross and Birdman remained complicated. Even though the lawsuit ended, the tension between them never completely disappeared. Interviews, podcasts, and social media posts continued to keep the story alive. Fans still debate who was right and who was wrong. Some people believe Rick Ross was brave enough to speak up when he felt something was unfair. Others believe Birdman deserved respect for building a powerful record label and helping launch the careers of many successful artists. The truth is that stories like this are rarely simple. There are always different sides and different perspectives. What one person sees as standing up for justice, another person may see as betrayal. That is why this story continues to fascinate.